$200,000, that's the number on the screen, no decimals, no pending, just the flat, clean weight of it sitting in an account that yesterday held $411 and change. You refresh the app, the number doesn't move. You put the phone face down on the kitchen table, count to 10, turn it back over, still there. 200,000. It reads less like a balance and more like a verdict, like someone finally checked the math on your whole life and decided you'd been undercharged this entire time. You don't say it out loud, but you feel it settle behind your ribs. I'm not who I was this morning. The guy who rationed gas money to the quarter tank, who let the dentist appointment slide a second time because the copay was $90, that guy got left behind somewhere around 9 a.m. This new person owns something. This new person is worth something. The money didn't ask if you were ready for it. It just landed, and now you have to be the kind of person it landed on. You walk a slow lap around the apartment, the couch with the busted spring on the left cushion, the window unit that rattles, the stack of envelopes by the door you've been not opening for 3 weeks. None of it changed, and all of it looks different. Smaller, temporary, a place you're already halfway out of, and you catch yourself doing the thing everyone does. You start pricing the exit, not a plan, just a low hum of arithmetic under everything. A car that starts on the first try, 30 grand, maybe 35. First and last on a place across town, another 5, a real mattress. The number in your head is at 40 before you've stood up from the chair, and it doesn't feel like spending. It feels like correcting a long mistake. Somewhere across the city, there's another one of you. A guy who hit his number 8 months ago. A settlement, a scratch ticket, doesn't matter which. You saw his truck last week, the big one, chrome still clean. You remember thinking he'd figured something out. You hadn't. You didn't know his account is already under 19,000 and sliding. You don't know that yet. You just know the truck looked like proof that money changes a life. Nobody photographs the balance. They photograph the truck. Here's the part nobody warns you about. The money feels like an answer, but you haven't heard the question yet. You do the quiet math one more time. 40 out, 160 left, and 160 still sounds infinite. That's the trick of it. A big number always sounds infinite right up until you start subtracting from it on a schedule. Your thumb is already moving. A search bar, a price, a thing. The first purchase is forming before the shock has even worn off, and it feels small, and it feels earned, and it feels like nothing at all. It isn't nothing. It's the first turn of a page, and the clock in the corner of this story has already started to run. The car happens first. It almost always does. You tell yourself it's practical. The old one has a check engine light on so long it's basically decoration, and a new job, the better job you're definitely about to find, will need reliable wheels. That's the story. The truth is you want to feel the number in your hands, and 34,000 of certified pre-owned is the fastest way to turn a screen balance into something with a smell and a sound. You sign $640 a month, 60 months, and the salesman says it like it's nothing, and you agree because $640 out of 200,000 is nothing. You do that math right there at the desk. It's nothing. You've stopped doing the other math. The one where the 200,000 was supposed to stay 200,000. The place comes next. Not a mansion. You're not stupid. You keep telling people you're not stupid. Just a real apartment, a floor that doesn't share a ceiling, $1,800 a month instead of the $950 you were paying. Doubling your rent doesn't register as a decision. It registers as a person finally living the way they should have all along. That's the part that gets you. Not greed, correction. Every upgrade feels like it's fixing something broken, and a thing that fixes something can't be a mistake. Then the door starts knocking. Your brother needs $8 grand for a transmission and a bridge loan he swears is temporary. A cousin has a business idea. A floor, not a ceiling, he says, wanting 12. An old friend just needs a little, just this once, and how do you say no now with 200,000 sitting there without becoming the kind of person who has it and won't share? You say yes 3 times. The money going out the door to family doesn't even feel like spending. It feels like being good. That's the most expensive feeling there is. You remember the guy with the truck. You ran into him at the gas station, and up close the chrome had road salt on it and his jaw was tight. Everybody found out, he said, not really to you. The day they hear the number, you stop being family and start being a bank. You nodded like you understood. You didn't. You still thought his problem was that he'd been careless, and yours was that you were careful. 2 men, same trapdoor, one already through it, telling the other exactly where it is. So you sit down one night, have to prove you're fine, and you add it up honestly for the first time. The car, 34. Deposit and moving, 7. The furniture that a real apartment apparently demands, another 6. Family, 28. Knew everything. Clothes, phone, the dinners where you quietly grab the check because you can. Call it 9 more so far. That's 84,000 in 7 weeks. You do the division you've been avoiding. What's left over what you're now burning a month, the rent that doubled, the payment that's new, the yeses that keep coming, and the calculator gives you a date. Not a vague someday, a month, a specific month closer than the warranty on the car you just bought. At this pace, the number that felt infinite runs out before the couch you're sitting on is 2 years old. You keep the date to yourself, you don't write it down, but it sits there now behind everything, a little cold coin of a fact you can't spend and can't lose. So you do what people do with a number they don't like, you go looking for a bigger one to cover it. Late on the phone, blue light on your face, and somewhere in the reading you hit the thing that changes the shape of the room, not a number, a pattern. There's a figure people love to throw around, that 70% of big winners are broke inside a few years. You read on, and it turns out that one's mostly myth. The outfit it gets pinned on says flat out they never found it, and the better studies say most winners hold on to more than you'd think. For a second, that's a relief, then it lands wrong because the honest version is worse. The money rarely destroys people in one dramatic crash. It does something quieter. It waits. It lets you keep being exactly who you already were, just with more zeros to do it with. 70% or 30, the ones who lose it aren't a different species from you. They're people who got money and stayed themselves, the thing you've been doing with both hands for 7 weeks. Here's the turn, and it doesn't arrive gently. Everyone believes that money changes your life. That's the entire promise of the screen that said 200,000. But the arithmetic says something colder. The windfall didn't change your direction, only your speed. You were always going to end up wherever your habits were taking you. The money just bought a faster car to get there. Sudden money doesn't rewrite your story. It turns the pages faster. You fight it. You want the old belief back because it was comfortable. It made the money a rescue instead of a magnifier. Your case is different, you tell yourself. Your brother will pay you back. The new job is coming. The rent is worth it. Every one of those is a reason, and reasons are exactly what the people who lost it had too, a drawer full of them. That's the part that won't let you sleep. The reason and the result live in the same house and never once meet. And the requests don't slow down. 28,000 has walked out to family already, and not $1 felt like a mistake at the time. You understand the guy with the truck now. He didn't get robbed. He said yes the way you've been saying yes until yes was a lifestyle instead of a kindness. And the lifestyle doesn't shrink back on its own. The doubled rent doesn't undouble when the account gets thin. The payment doesn't get smaller because you're scared. You didn't buy things, you bought a baseline, a new floor you feed every month, whether money's coming in or not. The upgrade became the minimum. That's the machine, not one disaster, just a raised floor and a falling balance walking toward each other on a schedule. Quick one, while we're here, be honest. A full year's salary hits your account overnight. Not fantasy money, real money tomorrow morning. What's the first thing you actually do? Hold that answer. You'll want it later. You put the phone down. The apartment is quiet in the expensive way now. Thick carpet, no rattling window unit to blame. For 7 weeks, the question was, what do I buy? Now it's the only one that matters and you don't have an answer. If the money can't save you, and the math just told you it can't, then what can? The answer, when it comes, is insulting in how boring it is. There's no move. No investment that outruns the math. No side of the table where you win it back faster than you're bleeding it. You went looking for a bigger number to cover the date, and there isn't one. There's only a smaller life chosen on purpose before the life gets chosen for you. You'd wanted a rescue. You get a set of rules with no thrill in them at all, so you start, not with a purchase, with a wall. Whatever's left, you move somewhere you can't reach on a thumb swipe at midnight. Separate bank, no card, no app. A cooling off period, the thing every advisor tells a new winner and every winner ignores. 30 days where the money can't be touched, no matter what feeling shows up. It sounds like nothing. It's the hardest thing you've done because for 7 weeks the money was you, and now you're locking you in a room from the outside. Then the debt, the card you'd been rolling, you look up the rate, 24%, and you'd been about to invest, chasing 8 or 10 in something a guy online swore by, while a balance 824. Paying down a 24% debt is the one guaranteed 24% return you'll ever get. No risk, no market, no luck, and no ordinary investment reliably beats it. You kill it in one transfer. Best move you'll ever make, and it feels like nothing because good financial moves don't feel like anything. The stuff that works is quiet. Next, the buffer, not a vague cushion, a number. Your real monthly cost times 6, fund it, don't touch it. Then the rule that actually costs you something, you refuse the ratchet. The apartment stays, the car stays, but nothing new goes on the pile. The floor stops rising. When your cousin comes back for a second 12, you say the word you couldn't say at 200,000. No, he looks at you like you changed. You did. That was the point. What's left goes to work in the background. Not a scheme. Broad, boring, structured, returning a modest something over years and asking only that you leave it alone. That's the fork nobody draws at the desk. Spend the lump on mood or ration it out like a salary. Same money, same starting number. One version still has it years later. The other has a story about the year he was rich. You drive past the truck guy's place last week. Truck's gone. There's a for rent sign in the window of the unit he was so proud of. He did everything the winner is supposed to do, and he's back where he started, minus 8 months. He kept being himself, and the money kept being a fuse, and it burned exactly as long as fuses burn. You almost were him. You've got the receipts to prove how close. Here's what nobody tells you at the desk when the number lands. You don't keep the money by spending it well. You keep it by becoming someone it can't escape. The cash was never the inheritance. The discipline was. The 200,000 just paid for the lesson, and most people pay full price and walk out with nothing. You put it all in place and you wait. The date you'd been carrying, the cold coin, the specific month closer than the car warranty, it comes. You brace for it like a deadline, and it just passes. 18 months on from the morning the screen changed, the date arrives and you're still here, and the account is still here. 18 months, you open the app out of habit, not fear. The number is still there. Not 200,000 you spent, you learned the first 7 weeks cost what they cost. But the wall held, the debt stayed dead, the buffer never got raided, and the rest sat in the background doing its quiet, unglamorous work. What's left is whole in the way that matters. It's not sliding. For the first time since the morning it landed, the balance isn't a countdown. It's just a fact you can leave alone. There's no photo of this. Nobody takes a picture of an account that didn't collapse. There's no truck. That's the thing you finally understand, standing in a kitchen on an ordinary Tuesday. The flashy 18 months and the durable one look identical from the outside for about a year. Same guy, same phone, same coffee, and then one of them has a for rent sign in the window and the other one doesn't. The difference was never visible. It was never the money at all. It was who was holding it. So here's the day, you get up. The car, the same one, no longer new, warranty long expired, still starts on the first try, takes you to a job you took because you wanted it, not because a payment was chasing you. The rent gets paid without arithmetic. You grab a coffee and you don't do the math on the coffee, and that, it turns out, is what the money actually bought. Not a bigger life, but the silence where the fear used to be. The door stopped knocking, and it turns out the people who only came for the yeses were never really at the door for you. You think about the version of you from month 2, the one pricing the exit, 40 grand deep before he stood up from the chair, certain the 160 left was infinite. He wasn't stupid. He was just about to hand his whole future to a couch and a car payment and a drawer full of good reasons. The only thing that saved you wasn't smarts and it wasn't luck. It was becoming slowly and against your own pull, someone the money couldn't run away from. That's the whole thing. The windfall was never the prize. The person you had to become to keep it, that was the prize. The money just made you pay for him up front. So here's the honest question, and then I'll let you go. Not what would you buy? You already answered that one back at the start of this quietly in your head, and you know whether it was a wall or a wish. The real one is harder. If the money landed in your account tomorrow morning, would it survive meeting the current you? Sit with that longer than feels comfortable. And if this is the conversation you didn't know you needed to have with yourself, stay. This channel is where we keep having it.